Greetings students, I am Ms. Kanika Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Pharmacy, Ramesh Institute of Vocational and Technical Education. In today's presentation, we will be talking about ADR monitoring, reporting and management. Now talking about pre-marketing studies, we all know that when a drug is discovered, it generally goes through a very extensive period of clinical trials, which can last up to years. And during these clinical trials, the initial phases of pre-marketing studies, that is, as the name says, that the studies which are done before introducing the drug into the market. Now, in pre-marketing studies, a number of toxicity studies are performed on animals. For example, carcinogenicity, teratogenicity, and mutagenicity are all the kind of toxicity studies that are performed. Now, the only problem is with these pre-marketing studies and in relation to ADR is that the clinical trials can only and normally identify 0.5 to 0.5% to 1% of ADRs. Now talking about post-marketing surveillance, which is the last part of the clinical trial, pharmacovigilance plays an important role here. Now it is the powerful and cost-effective system for identification of unknown drug-related risk. Now it is the duty of healthcare practitioner to report ADR resulting in patients under his care. Now to talk about the steps which are involved in ADR monitoring, so there are generally 4 steps. The first step is to identify an ADR. It is the responsibility of the professional who is present that he has the ability to identify and differentiate between other reactions and an ADR. After identifying an ADR, it is his responsibility to assess the cause between the drug and the reaction. If the cause has been established, then he can move on to the next step, that is the documentation of ADR in patient's medical records. After assessing the causality, he has to document the ADR in patient's medical records and files. Now after this step, he can move on to the next step that is reporting ADR to pharmacovigilance centers and ADR regulating authorities. Now, each and every hospital is not necessarily having a ADR monitoring center, but generally the tertiary hospitals, which are large hospitals, have these ADR monitoring centers. Now, talking about the Indian scenario, PVPI, that is Pharmacovigilance Program of India, has established zonal offices, and in these zonal offices, you can easily go and report these ADRs. Now, talking about the role of healthcare professional, so the healthcare professional should be very vigilant in detecting ADRs. Now, ADR may be detected during ward rounds with medical team. ADRs can be detected during the review of a patient's chart, patient counseling, medication history review, and communicating with other professional healthcares. Now, to assist ADR healthcare, professionals should closely monitor patients who are at high risk. Now, the patients who are already taking many medications, who are performing polypharmacy, are at a higher risk. Patients who have renal or hepatic impairment are the patients which are at high risk. Patients who have previous allergies and who are generally very much prone to getting allergies are again the high risk demographic. Now, the patients taking drugs which have a potential to cause ADR are the patients which are at high risk. The drug which has the potential of causing many ADR is generally the drugs which have narrow therapeutic index. Example is digitoxin. So this is the third one. And the patient who are taking multiple drugs, that is they are performing polypharmacy, have a high risk demographic. Now, if there is a pregnant woman or a breastfeeding women, so again high risk population. Now, the first step in detection of ADR is collection of data. So, if you want to if you want to detect ADR, you have to first collect the data. The first one is the patient's demographic information. So, demographic information here means that the patient belongs to which category. Like if the patient is like let's say he's an infant of I guess let's say 12 months. Okay, he's of the age of 12 months. So that means he is very young. his renal and hepatic functions haven't developed that much, so he is at a age of a high risk age, like we have talked about in the last slide. And similarly, if a patient is of like 75 age plus, so that means his renal and hepatic functions might have degraded with time. So these are the patients. So first, the responsibility of the healthcare professional is to collect the patient's demographic information. Then moving on to the patient's complaint, that what is he complaining about, and then we have to take the past medication histories, that what are the drugs that he has been taking in the past. For example, a patient presents in front of you with the complaint of let's say he says that whenever I get up, I feel very dizzy. So that means that he is suffering from postural hypertension. So your question should be, are you taking any hypertension medication? So obviously he is a 75 plus man, and the chances of him taking an antihypertensive is very high. So this postural hypertension could be because of that. So it is your responsibility to collect the data, to ask the right question. So all these things are covered in taking past medication history. Now onto the lab data such as hematological, liver and renal function tests. They also reveal a lot of information. Now the drug therapy details include over-the-counter drugs. Now there are chances that a patient might be taking a number of over-the-counter drugs. Now there are cases when patient had been taking Ayurvedic drug or herbal formulations, and then they refrain from informing you that they are taking other drugs as well. Now taking these medication history, and are asking the right question is your responsibility as a pharmacist or as a person who is in charge. Now there are how do you assess whether a patient is actually suffering from an ADR, or whether it is just a side effect, or whether it is just the pharmacological effect of the drug. Now this is a very tricky area. Now there are many scales or algorithms which have been introduced to help you in this scenario. For example, the first one is the Naranjo's algorithm, then it is Crash-Lazan's algorithm, WHO probability scale, and so on. The most important and the most commonly used one is the Naranjo's for this. Now this is what a typical Naranjo's algorithm looks like. So there are 10 questions ranging from question number 1 to question number 10, and then there are then in this column it shows that whether your answer is like yes, no, don't know, and what is your score. If a person answers like for this particular question, if the person answers is yes, then you write +1 here. Okay. And if and then you ask all the questions, you do the scoring, and after that you total your answer and match it with this table. So if the score is more than 9, then the chances of having the problem being an ADR is highly probable. If it is less than 0, then that means that it is doubtful. Now we'll take an example of the postural hypertension problem we had been discussing in the previous slide. So the scenario is that a 75 plus man comes into your clinic with the problem of postural hypertension. He has a history of taking antihypertensive prazosin in the past. Now the first question is, are there any previous conclusive reports on this reaction? So yes, we have already read in the past that prazosin may cause postural hypertension. So the score is, if my answer is yes, so I'll write +1 here. Then did the adverse event appear after the suspected drug was administered? So yes, he said in his medical history that he has been taking prazosin in the past. So my answer is yes. So I'll write +2 here. Then did the adverse reaction improve when the drug was discontinued or a specific antagonist was administered? So did you ask him to stop the drug, stop taking prazosin, or did you administer any antagonist? So in this case we did not. So I'll write no. See, no here means that you did discontinue the prazosin and it still didn't happen. So my answer would be here, I don't know. So here it is 0. Now moving on, did the adverse reaction reappear when the drug was re-administered? So we did not do that, so again 0. Are there any alternative causes other than the drug that could on their own have caused the reaction. So do you think are there any other reaction? But we don't. We know that the postural hypertension is because of the prazosin. So our answer is no. So here it will do +2. Then did the reaction reappear when a placebo was given? So did you do that? No, we did not do that. So our answer would be 0. Now, was the drug detected in the blood or other fluids in concentration known to be toxic? So we let's just say that we asked him to get his blood test done, and then we found out that prazosin was actually present in the toxic doses. So our answer is yes. So we'll do +1 here. Then was the reaction more severe when the dose was increased or less severe when the dose was decreased? So did we do any of that? So no, we did not do. So we will do 0 here. Okay. Did the resident have a similar reaction to the same or similar drug in any previous exposure? So that here actually we are talking about the demographics. So here we don't know, right? So we'll go with 0. Was the adverse event confirmed by any objective evidence? We don't know. 0. So let's do a total scoring. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the total score is 6, and we will see that 6 lies in this area, 5 to 8, and the answer is probable. So with the less information we had, we were aware of very less information. We did not do much of the clinical tests. We did not check. We did not test the drugs by increasing the drug dose, by decreasing the drug dose, by giving placebo, and so with all that little information, we still landed on getting the answer that it is a probable adverse drug reaction. So imagine if we would have gone through all the cases here that we could have administered a specific antagonist or discontinued the drug, we would have had a better chance of knowing. So but still we have landed on the probable. So I guess that is all about your ADR part 1. So this is all about your ADR part 2. In the next part, we will talk about drug interactions and what are the various methods by which we can detect drug interactions. Thank you so much.